I'm Noel.
I'm Jenny.
And I'm Cole.
And we're living overseas on a dime.
That's our channel name.
Thanks.
So yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to Living Overseas on a Dime. This is our channel. It's me, Noel, my wife Jenny, and our son Cole. And we'll be discussing all sorts of things in relation to moving overseas and trying to do it on the cheap, living frugally. So I hope you enjoy our channel, and we're just starting out and see where it goes. A little bit about us. We currently live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and it's just the 1st of July, so holiday today, Canada Day. And our plan is that we will be hitting the road in February. So we have pretty much 6 months to get everything together and get on our way. So we're kind of hope to document it here with you and see what you think. So our plan is to cover some different topics, and I noticed some things looking at the different FIRE channels, which is, for those of you that aren't familiar, is Financial Independence Retire Early, and we will discuss that a bit, but primarily we're going to discuss living overseas, frugal living and minimalism, investing and money and keeping a budget, some different concepts of FIRE, Financial Independence Retire Early, and our plan is to homeschool our son, so we'll talk a little bit about that. So first, living overseas. I think there are a lot of really good vlogs out there on YouTube that talk about living overseas, and even have kind of turned into the modern day version of National Geographic, where you get to see some really nice looking people go to some really nice looking places and really have a great life, it looks like, right? Well, we will be talking about these destinations, but more as an idea as to how everyone can go and live there, not just be an Instagram influencer and looking really good and with your six-pack abs. I'll tell you, I definitely don't have a six-pack, so we'll show you more from a normal point of view, these different destinations that are cheap and economical, and places you can really maximize your life to its full potential. One of the things that I've noticed a lot of channels don't really go into is visa requirements, because many of these places just kind of skip over that. And I guess some people and some countries, you have the nice 3 to 6 month visa possibilities, but we'll deep dive into that a bit and try and really look at the nitty gritty as to what is required in different countries and whether or not it is possible to stay beyond a month, because our plan is probably to slow travel through most of these countries and try and stay about 3 months in each location. Cost. Well, cost is I think a primary concern if you're planning on living overseas, and it's a kind of not really an advanced topic, but a fancy word, geographic arbitrage. And that's basically just taking your money and making it do the best for you, right? So $1,000 in the US or Canada doesn't really go very far, but you know, in some countries you can easily live an entire month, especially as a single person, on $1,000. And for us as a family of 3, we're going to have a little bit of a different budget, but we'll talk about that in a second. And then language. The language, like, is it difficult to get by in English? Do you need to know some of that language? And on top of that, just some of the resources. Is there a good transport system, transportation? Does it have a subway? Is it easy to get around? What is the connectivity like? Does it have good Wi-Fi? Like some countries, you may have to go to some sort of working space or something, but we'll discuss that a bit. Next point is frugal living and minimalism. This is more my wife Jenny's specialty, and right now we're at that point where we are trying to downsize and get and the last 11 years of our life into a few bags. So it's really an interesting process, and I'm not sure how many of you read Marie Kondo, but yeah, there's definitely an emotional component that you have some attachments to the things that you've collected throughout your life. For me, I'm a musician, So selling some of my instruments has been a bit of an emotional roller coaster ride for sure. But I think part of it's finding them a good home. But it definitely makes you focus on what you really need in life and the things that you truly care about. And there's a definite process that we'll try and bring you through. I know Jenny will talk about the bags that we got and some of the different packing cubes and things like that, and how you can maximize the space that you have for what you really need. And then we get into my wheelhouse, which is the investing and the money and budgeting component. Really, starting 11 years ago, we came back to Canada with approximately $40,000 in debt. And we managed to get out of debt and now be in a point where we are ready to go. We're ready to hit the road. And what our goal is that we have enough, I think, to live on $2,000 Canadian a month through our investments. But we are planning to work. So the goal will be that we only use $2,000 of that per month maximum, but we will work. So if we want to do some other things like travel and whatnot, we can just work to increase that amount. So as long as we don't go beyond using $2,000 of our investments a month, then we're fine. The next goal is to try and let those investments hit the $1 million mark, which we'll see exactly what happens, but might just take a while. Another thing is we are planning to work. So we're going to try out the digital nomad lifestyle and see how that goes. I'm not exactly sure how that'll go. We haven't tried that before. I have a writing background, so I've spent a lot of time marking and editing academic papers, as well as some legal writing in my current job. So it's something that we're going to try and adapt to working online. If not, we both were teachers for over 10 years living overseas in Taiwan, and we'll see what happens with that, because there are a lot of options. So the next component is FIRE, Financial Independence, Retire Early. And our channel is a little bit different from a lot of the FIRE vlogs out there, where people will document their journey, talk about saving money and budgeting as they're getting their money together to be able to retire. We're kind of starting where a lot of these people end. And part of that is just because we're doing what's known as barista or coast FIRE, which is we're planning to work and we're going to try and make enough money so we don't really touch a lot of our investments, a little bit. But the goal is to have our investments continue to grow while we're working as digital nomads through remote work. The last component is homeschooling. We will be homeschooling our son Cole throughout this process, and we'll talk a little bit about the challenges of that, homeschooling versus world schooling versus unschooling, which has some different people might be interested in how digital nomads with children can function, really, because I think a lot of people think it's just a 20 to 30-year-old thing that nobody else does. But the reality is that there's lots of people out there who want to do this. So I hope you enjoy our channel, and let's get traveling.